From Al Erdesy Stadium in Northampton, it is the District 11 Boys Lacrosse Semifinals as Delaware Valley, the 2 seed out of District 2, will play host to the Parkland Trojans, the 3 seed. The winner, of course, makes its way to the District 11 Championship. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to each and every one of you. Alongside Gwen Begley, I'm Mike Ventola. Well, for these two teams, they met earlier in the season. Parkland, they were victorious in that game, but it's been a long year, and both teams much different, certainly setting the stage for what should be an exciting lacrosse matchup.
Yeah, Delaware Valley gets better each and every year, and they may have led against Parkland 11-5 earlier in this season, but scored 5 goals in the third quarter. They've only lost to District 11 opponents the last couple of years by a combined 4 goals, so it could go their way tonight, Mike.
It certainly could. Let's start first with the Parkland Trojans under the direction of head coach Corey Andrews. In his first season, his team, they knocked out Freedom in the quarterfinals. That's how they got into this point, and they are still seeking a championship at the district level for the first time since 2018. And to get them a step closer to achieving that, they're going to look to the freshman attack in Colton Arezzi.
Yeah, he is the lone freshman that's in this starting lineup, second in the team in goals, first in the team in assists. He had 4 assists against Del Val earlier in the year, a 5-point game for the freshman. He earned this starting spot. He wants to do what he can to help the team win.
On the other side for Delaware Valley, the Warriors are under the direction of head coach Jeff Kraszolski in his 17th season. It's like a super regional for them in order to get a state playoff berth. That's why they are participating here in District 11. They're on a 16-game winning streak, large in part because of the senior midfielder in Peyton LaRocco.
Yeah, he leads the team in goals and second in assists. He's the all-time record holder in goals, assists, and points. He does it all for this team. He's a really smart guy, reliable. He's kind of a lax rat, a lax junkie, him and Noah. He's a lot of trust. He has a great relationship with the coaching staff, so he's one of those guys that's going to be the coach player on the field.
It's going to be a fun-filled matchup here in Northampton. It's Parkland, it's Delaware Valley. The District 11 boys semifinal matchup comes your way next right here on the Service Electric Network. Gorgeous skies here in Northampton. It's so nice to not see rainfall here for a lacrosse game as the boys lacrosse semifinal moments away. Let's get you the starting lineups for Parkland and Delaware Valley as the Trojans, they're shaking things up just a little bit, but one thing you see for certain is Maxwell Esteban at the face-off. He's been so good, especially here late in the season for the Trojans. Colton Arezzi, Parker Cusco, John Grancher at the attack, Ethan Leaks, Lincoln Brayford, and Rob Gertis there in the midfield, and of course Christian Magliore, Drew Schaefer at the defense, and one of the best in the air, Andrew Matulovicius in goal for Delaware Valley. We talked a lot about Peyton LaRocco already, but also kind of his partner in crime is Noah Raboli at the attack. Both can score quite consistently. We have Tyler Huzlovich there at the attack along with Bryson Mackey, Michael Uzzolino along with Sean Canali there at the midfield, Chris Freeman, Dean Finelli, Justin Estevez at defense, and Keegan Heath is just the first half goalie. There is a second half goalie in Riley Smith, but you will see number 35 Keegan Heath just for the first half, Gwen, and it was kind of a real interesting take because his numbers are very good, but according to head coach Jeff Kraszolski, it's been bread and butter for them all season long.
Yeah, they're trying to implement a 2-goalie system this year, Mike, and this is the first time they've ever done it. Keegan was the tried and true starter a year ago, and Riley really needed to catch up mentally. He needed to be able to get over whether he let a goal in or so. So he needed to catch up and get his mental state right, and he did. And they have challenged each other this year. So it's going to be him and Riley Smith, the junior. So he plays the second half, 39 goals against on 100 shots on goal. So he's saving around 61%. So we've got one with 56 and the other with 61. So it's great when you have 2 goalies like that. And of course, Andrew Matulovicius has just been fantastic. He had 18 saves against Del Val earlier in the season, coming in with 175 on the year, saving around 55%. But Mike, if any indicator of how he performed against this Del Val team earlier in the year, he's seeing the ball pretty well against their attackmen.
Yeah, he certainly has, and I would think for him, really wants to have a big day because especially after the way that Allentown Central Catholic game took place in the EPC tournament, that he's hoping that he can allow just a little bit of a lower scoring total, but he's been so good all season long. And when you have those 175 games and you're well above 50% in save percentage, it gives you good confidence.
Yeah.
So for Parkland, though, they would like to get going early. I know that's kind of been something for them that they'd like to really get started, especially too with Esteban, who's been good, been able to win a lot of face-offs for them. For Delaware Valley, Bryson Mackey, a senior midfielder, he's around 78% at the face-off. He's not a traditional Fogo. He is a part of the midfield.
Yeah, and you notice the brace on his leg. So he tore his ACL just a couple weeks ago and got cleared to play on a brace. And he said, Coach, I want to play. I don't want to miss this game. I want to see what I can do. So he practiced for the first time yesterday on this brace. Felt good. And now here he is taking a face-off and winning the first one for Del Val.
Yeah, well done here for Delaware Valley. And already bumping into guys and coming up with it. Canale was able to get the initial ground ball. Now you see number 2, Tyler Milosevic.
That was a great, clean face-off win by Mackey. You can't tell at all that he is playing on a torn ACL. Tough kid.
Well, for the Warriors, who have won 16 in a row, their lone loss was to Parkland earlier in this season. Their last game was on May the 7th against North Pocono. Ended up winning, for Delaware Valley. They've been the representative for quite some time here, getting a chance to participate in this District 11 tournament. So, though District 2 does not automatically allow a team to qualify for the state tournament, that's why they get a chance to participate here in the District 11 tournament, and they are really trying to find a way to get a victory on the field. Good defense there by Parkland, and it's McLeod who scoops it up, and Parkland going to try to get on Delaware Valley's side of the field.
Yeah, District 2 not as strong in schedule, and sometimes they usually like to have a team or two in between the end of the regular season with New York teams. They're a little closer to those New York teams, have a good relationship with them, but the season's timing just didn't end up matching up this year, so they weren't able to get those extra game in, so they have had short competitive practices to try and prepare for Parkland here tonight.
There's John Garancher on the near side. He'll work to Arezzi, who is at that X position. Good job here for Parkland. Kind of spacing things out. Don't be surprised you see number 8 Parker Cusco get involved. He has been quite in the record books as of late. And we see there a shoot and score. I'm not Nostradamus, but there is Cusco who gets the first goal as Parkland takes a 1-0 lead.
You spoke it into existence, Mike, but it's not hard to guess. Parker Cusco has been the leading guy for this team for the past couple of seasons, and he just keeps getting better and better. Headed to Muhlenberg in the fall, but he quickly gets that feed inside and executes. He shoots cross body. He kind of goes stick side on the goalie and getting the first goal of the game. And that's a great recovery, especially after losing that opening face-off, Mike.
Yeah, certainly. And for Cusco, who is the all-time goal record holder in District 11. So with 240, he was able to achieve that, and he has 300 career points. So it's been a remarkable career for him.
It absolutely has. The brother of Chase Cusco, he's at Muhlenberg as well. So the brothers will play again next season, but he's just been a fantastic goalie fantastic goal scorer, runs in the family a little bit.
Here's Garancher, once again to Arezzi. Del Val trying to showcase that defense. The pass gets messed up for the moment. Scoop up there on the ground ball. Chris Devaney.
Great defense from the Warriors. However, they still got to play it. Cusco, a little pushing and shoving there, and once again causing a turnover there on the far sideline.
Yeah, good physicality here for Parkland right now, and we see a scrum trying to who's going to get the ball. It pops up into the air, and right now the red and gray in the upper hand. Nope. And now finally, yes, they get a hold of that ground ball, and Parkland with possession.
Another opportunity. I mean, that was a battle. Those are those 50-50 balls they've got to win. They got to get the ground balls if they want to win this game. That's something that has been a little bit of a struggle in their last few losses.
Garancher, who has been very active here throughout the postseason, very much so even during that Allentown Central Catholic loss. Winding that ball deflected. Number 34, Justin Estevez, the defender, throwing his body in that shot attempt there by Matthew Kelly. And a great idea there for Kelly, but for Estevez, putting his body on the line.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are football players, which I think you can kind of tell by their stature, but the coaching staff, there's a lot of football coaches on the coaching staff who kind of do a dual sport in coaching, so a lot of tough guys on this field.
Yeah, Jeff Kraszulski, the head coach for Delaware Valley. He coaches football himself at the middle school level, and he spoke about how, obviously, having some football guys, and it's been nice to see, too, the development and a great chemistry for these guys as they've been able to develop here throughout the season.
Yeah, we've seen, I mentioned it in the open, Mike, we've seen how much better Del Valle has gotten over the years that we've seen them here on the Service Electric Network. 4 goals they've only lost by over the last couple of years, 13-10 to Easton a year ago.
Goal number 2 here for the Trojans. Parker Cusco again as the senior trying to make things happen early for the Red and Gray.
I love the way they're spreading the ball around right now. There's not one lone guy taking it to the house. He's getting feeds from everyone. I believe that was Grancher once again trying to find Arezi in the backside, and Arezi goes across the face of the goal to find Cusco. So great setup from the Trojans, like what I'm seeing from them on attack so far.
Yeah, I mean, 85 now on the season. Parker just really strong out of the gate. We'll see Esteban, who won the previous face-off, able to scoop it up and able to clear it through. Another face-off one here for the Red and Gray.
Yeah, Max Esteban is one of the best to do it here in District 11, earning 500 career face-off wins earlier in the season.
He's got a long way to go to get to number 600. Coming into today, he's 35 away. So I don't know if you can win 35 face-offs in one game, but still impressive.
Lacrosse is a high-scoring game, so you never know. And if they get one more game to play, if they win this one, then that's another opportunity for Esteban. But he's already got that milestone this year, and he's just been such a steady, consistent force at the dot for the Trojans.
Uzzolino had it for the moment for Delaware Valley, and a nice job here for Parkland. That was number 66, Colin Winfield, who had initially came up with the ball, and now Parkland back on offense.
Parkland eating a lot of the possession time right now. There's been a couple turnovers, Mike, from Delaware Valley's defense, but they haven't been able to kind of secure it in the aftermath.
And I would think for Parkland, especially when they had some issues against Del Valle in the second half, on the forefront of the mind, try to play as much clean lacrosse as possible, and they are out of this game. Wind and shot, top shelf there for Parkland, as they now lead 3-0, courtesy of Blake Finnegan, his 30th of the year.
Yeah, Blake Finnegan didn't get the start here today, but he comes in on attack, and he's making a difference already. I love the way, again, they're trying to have these quick passes, draw those late slides, maybe draw the second slide. You can see how late that slide was there. He had an open lane to the goal, and he took advantage.
Blake Finnegan. And that's tough sometimes when, head coach Corey Andrews telling us that, having to shake the starting lineup a little bit just because, well, there'll be some guys getting a chance to earn positions, but also, too, you're trying to, quote-unquote, fit a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
And I know it's not easy for any head coach to make tough decisions, but kudos to the Trojans. It's affected them positively here so far.
Yeah, and this team has been working also on their mentality and their consistency all season long. You can't let egos get in the way of everything, and that's kind of mirrored on the other side of Del Valle. Egos might have been an issue a season ago, but this year they've really hunkered down, become more of a family unit. They worked a lot on culture, and that's an unfortunate turnover off the pass that just goes errantly out of bounds.
Yeah, number 22 there, Peyton Larocco, who we talked a lot about at the start of this broadcast. Been quiet so far, and just Del Valle unable to get anything gelling here offensively. And the Trojans right now absolutely lock, stock, and barrel, just showing a little bit more fluidity here in this first quarter.
Yeah, Coach Andrews said, they might have overlooked Del Valle earlier in this season, allowed them to come back into the game. They already had that 11-5 lead at the half, so they thought they were a little bit comfortable, but you can't be comfortable that early in a game, and I think they learned that pretty quickly when Del Valle had outscored them 5-2 in that frame.
Intrigued to see if the Warriors look to shake things up defensively. Arezi looking for help, getting a lot of stick action.
Wow.
And a pass, shot, score. And for the Trojans, jumping ahead here now, 4-0. Number 3, Danny Tapia with his 7th of the season. And it's about as picture-perfect a start as you can hope for here for Parkland.
Yeah, 4 straight goals, and I believe all of them were assisted, if I'm remembering correctly, and a couple from Colton Arezzi. So the second straight assist from Arezzi. We talked about him in the open. He's so good at helping his teammates out, right? Coach Andrews said he's not the guy that's going to go take the shot and the glory for himself. He wants to be a team guy, a team player, and that's what he's been able to do. He has had so many assists this season. There's been 52, add a couple more to his resume today, but can't say enough good things also about Danny Tapia, who is struggling with injuries throughout the year, and he's really come alive late in this season.
Gwen, you and I, we've been excited to learn the story of this young man, Bailey Wetmore, great catcher by our crew. He broke his arm against Allentown Central Catholic, and Coach Corey Andrews telling us before the game, we've made him the team captain now, and it's been so nice to see because it looks like he may be catching the coaching bug a little bit. Yeah,
it's hard not to when you're kind of forced to be on the sideline, right? And Coach Andrews said he got injured in his junior season, and that's how he caught the coaching bug. And he started trying to learn the ropes, and now he's giving him advice on how he could take that route as well. But obviously, if you're injured, you can't do anything about it. Obviously, you can't play with a broken arm, Mike. So he's taken advantage of this opportunity, made it into a positive in a way to not only help himself, but more importantly, help his teammates out.
You know, for you and I, we were getting a chance to talk to coaches before the game. We're trying to steer clear of any specific drills, but for him, even with a broken arm, he's right in the middle of things. So I give him all the credit in the world with that broken wing there to still be out there getting in the trenches as much as he can.
Yeah, if you look during warm-ups, Bailey's there with the coaching staff every time. He's sharing his opinions, asking questions. He's getting himself involved. So can't wait to see if we see him coaching later on in life. Maybe he'll be joining Andrews on the staff once he graduates in a couple of years. But great to see that he's helping out when he can't be helping out on the field.
Right now we have Esteban and Mackey.
Battle.
Fantastic. And whoa, Esteban coming up with it. That came up rather quickly.
It did, yeah. He got that turn and twisted his stick a little bit, was able to spit that one out so he could easily face off.
Under 5 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Parkland leading 4-0. Delaware Valley representative, District 2. They have been the representative literally going back to 2019. They have been red hot regarding to getting into this district tournament, but it's been a struggle for them because you're still looking for that first win, Gwen.
Yeah, it's been tough. It's tough when you are so successful in your district and you may not have the strongest schedule in the world, and that was really smart of Parkland and Del Val to schedule that game earlier in the season so you get a taste of what you might see in districts. Great turnover at X here by Del Val. Love that defensive pressure from their pole.
Yeah, that was number 32, Dean Finelli.
Yeah, Dean Finelli, great pressure. We'll see if they can get through the sideline here. They've only had 2 offensive possessions, but once again, struggling to get past the ride.
Yeah, Colin McGarvey there. And that ball taken away by Parkland. Whistle sounds. And I think, not sure exactly, I thought it might have been a timeout.
That was a hot potato,
It
Mike.
was a hot potato, so good, kudos for Parkland. Able to regain possession.
Yeah, I mean, this Del Val team, just looking over the past 3 years, in 2022, they lost to Freedom. Of course, that was the year that Freedom won their district championship, and the next year as well. But they lost 15-8 to Freedom. And then the next year, I believe this is a game we had live here on Service Electric Network. It was an overtime victory for the Patriots, 8-7. And then last year, it was just a 13-10 loss to Easton. So they've been right there. Just got to get over that hump.
Great save for Keegan Heath, desperately needing a save. Over 50 on the season, able to come up with it, and now his defense will try to work things upfield. Great save there by McGarvey.
Oh.
But even though that pass up wasn't good, number 33 there, Drew Schaefer, able to get it to the Parkland offense.
Yeah, he couldn't recover in time.
Colton Arezzi finds the back of the net, and the red and gray ahead by 5.
I mean, obviously, Parkland's attack is playing a dual role in a really tight ride, and they've not allowed Delaware Valley to have a true controlled offensive possession, but this was a great turnover here. They quickly get it to Colton Arezzi on the top, and he shoots high on Heath to get the 5th consecutive goal of this first quarter.
You know, Gwen, I would think that for Parkland, we kind of knew, especially, and for Delaware Valley. They're going to win the face-off here, so Esteban leaves the field, but not surprised in a sense, Parkland coming out with a lot of energy and juice because they know that this is it. If they don't win, their season's done, but obviously they've done their homework on that previous early season matchup with Delaware Valley. Shot, save.
He was ready for it, Mike. It's almost like he expected him to shoot right and then and there. So a stopped opportunity by Andrew Matalevichus.
And Matalevichus, he has been a little quiet here in the first half. That's when you don't have too many shots, not much you can do there if you're the senior.
Got to stay sharp, but looks like he was seeing that pretty well already. I mentioned 18 saves against this team earlier in the season.
That's a busy night at the office, but
yeah,
kudos for him. I mean,
you got to mention, I mean, it's a 2-hour drive from Delaware Valley, and might be some rust right now, perhaps,
sure. Yeah,
here
I
in
mean,
the first quarter.
It's not an effort thing right now for Delaware Valley. It's just, I think what we're seeing is Parkland, they didn't have to drive as far. Maybe, what, 25 minutes, 30 minutes max?
Look at this.
And look at this, number 34, Justin Estevez. And he'll float that pass up to Jackson Barbalich.
Oh.
And a straight takeaway. Thought that
Yeah, that was, he was trying to feed it inside, but
it was Magliar now. Nice scoop up here for LaRocco. If you're Delaware Valley, you figure you've got to get your all-time goal scorer involved here in some capacity.
yeah, and you can't let a pole take it away from you like that.
And there's LaRocco. He finds the back of the net. And Delaware Valley on the scoreboard.
See what happens when you can finally get it past the midfield, get your possession, and take a quality shot. That was not a quality shot when it was point blank from top side against Andrew Matalevichus. He's going to save that nearly every single time. But this time they thought about it a little bit more, and he's decided, all right, I can see that open lane. I see the crease defender's not going to make it there, and boom.
So a little above a minute remaining here, and his 65th goal. Ooh, some friction there, and that trip there, it's going to allow Delaware Valley to win the face-off.
Yeah, one thing Coach Andrews said that was an issue against Del Val last time was maybe some discipline issues. They took a little too many penalties, gave them more chances than they would have liked.
If you're Delaware Valley, we're under a minute remaining here, and you almost wonder, do you try to make the most of this, hold and wait for a final shot, or do you try to score quickly?
Well, Parkland's defense forcing him out right now, but
wind up, bouncer, and good looking goal there for Delaware Valley. Number 26, Michael Uzzolino, who was able to get the score, and for Delaware Valley, they're within 3.
yeah, Michael Uzzolino, he's the lefty on this team, and you can see the feed from X, and he just shoots. And that lefty, that benefits him against a guy like Andrew Matalevichus. You can see how wide open that side of the net was. He recognized that and took his opportunity.
That's his first goal of the season, so southpaw able to get some attention.
You always want to mix it up with a lefty in there, right? It's difficult for goalies because most of them are righties. So now Matalevichus just saw his hand though, so I would think he's going to protect that side of his cage a little bit better.
Here comes LaRocco, cuts in front, and speaking of the senior goalie, he makes the stop.
Yeah, that was not just one stop. He had to corral it afterwards. It deflected out of his pocket, able to swallow it up, and they make quick work of getting down to the field.
Gertis, his pass goes A-wire by to Garancher. I mean, look at LaRocco. I mean, it's a good-looking shot, and he saw it the entire way.
He sure did.
5 seconds. Throwing it on down, and the save is made, and that takes us to the end of the first quarter. But for Parkland, jumped out to a 5-0 lead, but Delaware Valley scoring too late to make it a 3-goal difference. Second quarter comes your way here from Northampton. Mike Ventola, Gwen Begley, and our SCN crew here from Northampton. The 3-seeded Parkland Trojans leading the 2-seeded Delaware Valley Warriors 5-2. And Gwen, right now, if you're Parkland, there's certainly a lot of positivity to take away, except that last minute and a half when you allowed Delaware Valley to score those last 2 goals. But if you're head coach Corey Andrews, you got to be thinking, all right, just what we needed, a good start overall for our bunch.
Yeah, they've been spreading the ball around really well. 4 different goal scorers along those 5 goals, all assisted. Colton Arezzi having a couple assists. He got a goal for himself as well. So we talked about him in the open, and he's kind of helped us out a little bit, made us look good by highlighting him because he has had a fantastic performance so far. Again, he's the only freshman that's starting on this squad, and he's earned that spot throughout the season, beginning of the season, really. Just a team player, but all around they've had such a great performance. They have a great ride tonight. They're not allowing Delaware Valley to elongate any of their possessions if they're even able to get a possession in the first place. But if they are, Andrew Matalevicius is seeing it pretty well, only allowing 2 in, and one of those was kind of right up front, Mike. But Del Val, I think they just need to get a little bit warmed up into this game, so I expect to see more urgency from them here in this second quarter.
Maybe shaking off some of that rust. We'll see how things begin here at the face-off. Bryson Mackey and Maxwell Esteban. But kudos to Mackey, man, with a torn ACL.
I cannot believe that.
I mean, when you see players get torn ACLs, I mean, season's done. There's like no conversation.
I don't even know how you walk after that. So I'm not sure the severity of the injury, but clearly he got cleared to play on a brace. So this is doctor approved, and he wanted to be here for his team. He wanted to contribute, and you know, it's hard to stop a kid who's that determined.
No, I mean, you look at Bryson Mackey, who is a senior. He's going to go to play at Misericordia University. And obviously, too, I mean, credit to him. And, I mean, I would think, too, if you're going to go play at the next level, sometimes they have an interest, but obviously there must be something approved where maybe he can't damage it any further. Maybe it's like, oh, what's done is done.
Yeah, typically you need to get a certain amount of time to be cleared for college. I'd say 4 months or so. Great turnover here, an opportunity.
Oh, LaRocco could have reeled in the pass, and now we see the penalty flags flying. So it'll be a free play here for the moment until we get a stoppage.
Yep, once Parkland
able to
turns this over to Del Val, we'll get a whistle, but they're going to call it anyways.
So we take a look at it here again, and yep, a slash to the back of the head. That is not going to work.
And continues.
So Delaware Valley will be down a player here.
Yeah, so the officials come over here and discuss, and I'm wondering if they're trying to discuss maybe, so 2-minute slash is what they're going to call here. I just wonder if it's going to be locked in because it was a little bit egregious.
I mean, 2 minutes, that will, I mean, it's like thinking of it.
No,
like
it's a releasable penalty. So, yeah, 2 minutes, he'll take a seat, and this is a great opportunity for the Trojans. I got to imagine you want to score quickly. But that's tough for Del Val, though, because that's a little bit too much frustration showing this early in the game. So they got to settle down a little bit.
No, they do, and, you know, especially when you're only within 3 goals. I mean, I'm sure you and Christy Fulkerson saying yesterday, 3 goals, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, we've been saying
it's nothing,
it's nothing.
Mike.
So that's what I mean. So for Delaware Valley, you could easily get back into this game. But right now, Parkland, good save there for Heath, able to scoop it up, and nice job there by the senior.
Yeah, nice job forcing them to take a shot. They might not have looked as good early, so now that they get possession, so I got to imagine you're going to try and kill as much as this penalty as you can with one of your best players taking a knee in the box.
I mean, just even getting on this side of the field, I mean, it's being down a player.
Yeah, with the way Parkland's playing defense so far in this game, which has really been suffocating in their own box.
Ruboli. Now here's Uzzolino. Uzzolino getting a lot of pressure from the defender, Drew Schaefer. Drew Schaefer able to knock it away. Long stick up 2. Parker Cusco.
Love his stick skills on that defensive play. He just kind of winded his stick right through to be able to get the stick check and free it. And now another opportunity for the Trojans, and they're still riding off this penalty.
Good substitutions here for Parkland. Arezi. Get it over to Cusco. Cross the way. Up high. Saved there by Heath. And right now, Heath starting to really warm up here as this game's going on.
A couple saves off of this man-up opportunity for Parkland. So Heath, great job at counteracting that. Let's take a look at his last stop here. These aren't easy to stop. That one, he has to move his stick.
It was John Garancher on the shot for the Trojans. There's number 3 in Luke Brzezinskis.
Here's another player that's playing with a partially torn ACL. So you can see brace on his knee as well. So a couple bionic men here on the Warriors squad.
I mean, if Delaware Valley, regardless of the outcome, should pat themselves on the back, because you literally have 2 injured players playing, and it's hard enough to play with 1 injury. Moving around, that pass getting deflected, and Delaware Valley back with the ball.
Great second slide from Justin Estevez. Mike, we've said his name quite a few times tonight. Love the way that he's playing aggressive defense against the Trojans.
Able to pick up the trash. That shot is airmailed high by Jackson Barbalich. And it might have been deflected here as there's the deflection on the previous play with Parkland. Scoop it up, save.
Wow, Matalevicius, that was an incredible save by the senior.
Look at Brayford was able to get the ball. Matalevicius was with his 3rd save.
See if he can make another.
Here's Barbalich. Matalevicius got a stick on it at first.
Yeah, another save for Matalevicius, just couldn't get the deflection. It comes back out to Del Val, so another opportunity. Gotta think, settle down a little bit.
Who's going? Who's going? Who's going?
Parkland defense just doing a nice job. It seems like anyone coming from next that's trying to cut in, they're just forcing them out. So kudos by the red and gray. And Matalevicius got his body in front there. I think that hit off the goal there, but still you see number 8, Colin McGarvey, was with the shot attempt as we looked at the previous 2 saves here. Glenn?
Yeah, Matalevicius, I mean, he's just seeing this so well. Mentioned 18 saves against this team before. He makes quite a few tonight already, and back-to-back. I mean, those are difficult, obviously, when it deflects right back outside. Those can easily be scored once again in those 2nd, 3rd chance opportunities, but he's doing a good job at kind of recovering and getting himself set for that next save.
Nearing 6.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Still looking for that first goal scoring opportunity here in the 2nd quarter. Scoop up there, and the ball just crosses over the line. It goes in. It's LaRocco, and Delaware Valley's within 2.
Yep, LaRocco back on the field after serving his penalty and already making an impact. This nearly a turnover. Unfortunately for Parkland, they just scoop it right to him, and he quickly makes work, skimming the carpet there, and it just trickles right past Matalevicius. Tough one for him, but LaRocco, great heads-up play by him to take the opportunity as he saw it.
Looked like the ball had some spin action there a little bit. It was, I mean, not much for the senior to do, and trying to find a home. It's Esteban. And a timeout's going to be taken by Corey Andrews, wanting to get his offense regathered here. I mean, remember, Parkland led 5-0. It's now been 3 straight for Delaware Valley. Yes, the old adage of a game of runs here, but right now the runs are really favoring the Warriors, who are starting to wake up a little bit. as we take a look at some previous offense here for Delaware Valley.
Yeah, even getting tripped up a little bit. Huzanovich, and then trickles back out. Larocco, just love his awareness on that, picks up the GB and gets the job done. And 3 straight goals you mentioned, Mike. Coach has to be happy with the way his teams responded after those 5 straight, and this is kind of what happened. Parkland let Del Val back in a little bit, although it happened later in the game, so love that we're seeing this effort from the Warriors so early to kind of keep this a little closer than it was last time out. So 5-3, we know how close that is, Mike. This could be erased pretty easily, so they continue this goal-scoring streak through into the second quarter. We've got a little under 6 minutes left to go. A lot of lacrosse left to be played.
Yeah, I think if you're Jeff Krzyzolski right now, you got to be saying to your team, hey, we're back in this. You got all the momentum. Let's find a way to keep this going. And I thought it was a good timeout here for head coach Corey Andrews at Parkland, because even it's more so of trying to get your offense set. Is it a way also to slow down Delaware Valley, because they had been able to play with such more fluidity here as this game is going on. So
yeah, momentum is everything, Mike, and even calling a timeout could kind of disrupt that momentum that Del Val may have been trying to build over these last 3 scores, and also trying to figure out how we want to attack this possession. What defense are we going to see? Blake Finnegan will have it on the right side of your screen. And both teams, Mike, are making very similar mistakes. There's been a ton of turnovers on both sides. So they are both struggling with that. Even the ground ball battle's been pretty tough.
All right.
Morezzi.
He's so quick.
He really is. Up high, off the post.
Good recovery from the Trojans.
Finnegan backs off. Up high, Heath hit off his stick, scooped up by the defender. And that was Finelli. Kushko in there. And it's going Delaware Valley's way as we look at the previous shot here on the post.
Yeah, he aimed to just, oh, I love the idea. And Colton's scored in that position multiple times, but hitting the crossbar there. And of course, a push call sends it back to Del Val, so they're trying to make their way through the midfield here. And another opportunity on attack. See if they can make it 4 straight, Mike.
Well, not only that, too, I mean, and you kind of put it out, too, for Keegan Heath there in goal. He's quite tall. I think if maybe it's a couple inches shorter for, if it's a different goalie, maybe that ball goes in. But as you said here, Delaware Valley going to try to get their 4th straight. That ball, though, there's turnovers again. And
tough giveaway.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's an opportunity right there if you're Delaware Valley. You can't waste it, especially when you're getting all that momentum. I mean, look, he's wide open.
Yeah, they've had a few self-inflicted wounds just in terms of some errant passes on offense, and Parkland obviously happy to take advantage and get some more opportunities on attack.
Finnegan zips it down and unable to get it to.
Right, see the same mistakes just happening on either side. So a little bit of a messy lacrosse game so far here in the District 11 semifinals.
Yeah, Garancher was right there, but the ball was too low, and that's where kind of the basics here have to find its way back for both teams. Only one goal scored so far here in this quarter. That was by Larocco a little over 2.5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the ball has spent more time bouncing on the turf than it has in anyone's possession.
Kushko, low burner there, had the right idea.
Yeah, he was wide open, and he had that open lane right to Heath, just not on target.
I mean, yeah, not much you could do there. I mean, that was the right idea.
I think that would have been saved by Heath anyway. He had his stick down in time, so it would have gotten blocked if it had gone on target.
Finnegan up high and to the right. So another missed shot here for Parkland.
They'll switch out. They'll bring a pole into defense. So Sean Canali in the mix now. You'll see him right there in the middle, number 0.
Parkland trying to get a goal scored here.
Yeah, they've been without one for nearly 12 whole minutes. Bobbling ball here. This is the ground ball battle. I mean, talk about how important that is, but really important in this game since it's spending so much time bouncing around the turf.
Shaner that was able to get it back for Parkland. Here is Tapia. Gets it behind. Bouncer, and finally in for Parkland, John Garancher. He's been swirling around that goal for a while, and he's able to get his first of the day.
So an entire quarter's worth of time without a score, and Parkland finally gets this one. He works his way from X around the crease, bouncing that one through. The goalie unable to get over in time. I don't think he even expected him to kind of come as far out as he did. So the Trojans get one back and go ahead by double.
Yeah, there's Garancher, his 42nd of the season. I mean, you can sit there and say Parkland with a 3-goal lead, feeling good, but there's gonna be a lot of talking at halftime. Up top, top shelf, Colton Arezzi.
And that came from Max Esteban, winning there at the face-off X. He quickly unloads it. We'll see the replay in just a second, but Colton Arezzi, I mean, he's having a great game tonight, Mike, so far. Great win off the face-off by Esteban. Quickly, one-hand cradles, sends it off to Colton Arezzi. He goes top shelf, and the Trojans get back-to-back goals, up 7-3.
I mean, for Arezzi, he is a lot of fun to watch. And what Coach Andrew said, Metalevicius with the save. Andrew, I'm trying to point out about your teammate, you know, but it's all good. But for Colton Arezzi, as Parkland works up towards the field, he's selfless, Coach Andrew's saying. He's really focusing on trying to make the team better as we get a timeout here taken by none other than head coach Corey Andrews, and they're going to talk things over.
Yeah, and you mentioned Colton Arezzi, and this is a question I ask because he is just a freshman, and what, you're 14 years old at that point, 13, 14, I'm not sure how old you are anymore, but you might be a little immature, so I asked, has he matured, or what has his maturity been like throughout the season? He goes, I don't even think it's about maturity. I think he is just selfless. Like you said, he just wants to be a team guy. He wants to help out the team in any way that he can. And when you get a kid that's that talented as a freshman, they could easily let that balloon, let that get to their head. All right, I'm picking up these assists, I'm scoring these goals. But he is always looking for that extra pass. So I'm liking that he's taken a couple for himself today. So he's had a couple assists, and now he has a couple of goals. So I like the way that he's playing tonight.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, you look at where he's able to stem his offense. I mean, relating to some other guys around the valley. I mean, you look at James McCarthy for Allentown Central Catholic.
They are very similar players. He reminds me of James when he was a freshman.
Yes, and I mean, obviously there are two teams that are going to be playing later tonight in Easton Red Rovers and the Nazareth Blue Eagles. I mean, Shea Lineker plays a similar position, but I think you bring out a good point.
Completely different player.
Completely different player. Completely.
Not only by stature, Shea Lineker is massive. He's a wrestler. I mean, but the smaller size, he's a lot quicker. Colton Arezzi's very quick. He's so quick along that crease, and he works that X position so well, just like James McCarthy. They're kind of like buzzing around.
Yep. It was like they're like bees looking for honey. They are just absolutely constantly buzzing around and disrupting what defense are going to do. Now, both head coaches are talking with the officials here. I wonder, I mean, the timeout.
I wish we had a fly on the wall of some of these conversations we're seeing over here. So,
but obviously for the officials to call both head coaches together, I don't think it has anything to do with penalties. Nobody's taking a knee. I think it's
maybe a little sideline warning.
I think that's what it's, a little sideline warning. More so for Parkland, I think. See Coach Andrews telling his team, got to hang back a little bit.
And of course you want your sideline to support the team on the field and get up, but got to keep it tame. big hit on Colton Arezzi, so he's staying down, slowly getting up, and Del Val is off to the races. So it looks like Arezzi's okay, maybe just banged up a little bit.
And for Delaware Valley, taking a timeout. Arezzi right now, it looks like he was looking at that right knee.
Yeah, he got decked. To say it quite bluntly, he really did there back at X, and he's just got to shake it off. It'll hurt a little bit throughout the rest of the game, maybe a lot more tomorrow, but he's been banged up a little bit in this game, and he's a smaller guy, and he's putting himself in these positions to get a little bit banged up, but he's a tough player. He wants to be involved, and that's part of that. And with the X position, I mean, you're kind of asking for it when you're working around the crease, right? You're putting yourself at risk there. So this is got a little bit of a push there. Officials didn't see that one.
Yeah, Dean Finelli with a little bit of an extra hit there, and Coach Andrews getting animated right now, and it's good to see. Sometimes as a head coach, you want to stay cool, calm, and collected, but every now and then you have to light a fire, and kudos for him to light a little bit of a fire with his team right now, but also too for Colton Arezzi's standpoint. It's just not purebred lacrosse players that are wearing Delaware Valley uniforms. You got like a lot of football players.
Yeah.
I mean, and and they're big, strong guys, and so that's what makes them even tougher, being able to take a hit like that and get right back up.
Yeah, Coach Andrews, we don't see him often getting animated, but he's trying to get his team pumped.
Yes.
And he's one of those guys, he just loves lacrosse, and he just loves a good game. He's like, it's not fun when there's a blowout. I mean, we want it to be competitive. We want a game. And I think he liked that Del Val came back and scored 5 goals in the third quarter and made it a game the last time out. He said that makes it better. That makes us better, makes them better.
And, even though his team lost against Allentown Central Catholic, he said, look, I'm sure for a viewer standpoint, it was a tremendous lacrosse game to watch.
He mentioned just from his viewpoint, he said, that was electric. You used the word electric, and I love to hear that from a coach, because the coach can be like, man, that was a bad game. That was not great, but he said it wasn't a bad game. We did the best we could. They did the best we could, and that was the result that came out of it.
Heath was able to get himself another save, and now for Delaware Valley.
Yeah, I love the way Heath's playing right now. Has the size. He's 5 saves in between the pipes there, and he might have to stand up for another one here.
Right up to the top goal scorer. Ball deflected away. Nice job there for Heath, especially with that guy coming towards you.
Yeah, Cusco wanted another. He's had the first 2 goals of this game. He's been quiet ever since. So this was a quick feed up top and looking for that bounce shot. A little bit too much strength, so the bounce goes errantly out of bounds. Look at this ride, Mike. Colton Arezzi, he got Cusco there. Hitting a brick wall with Garancher.
Yeah, Barbalich now trying to move around. He loses the ball, and it's Finnegan that comes up with it. Finnegan.
Great defense, by the way, from number 13, Ethan Leaks.
Blake Finnegan scores for Parkland, and the Trojans lead 8-3.
And that started on the defensive side of the ball at the midfield. Ethan Leaks did a great job causing a little chaos, causing that turnover, and Blake Finnegan gets it to go. So here we see a little bit of disruption off the stick check. Blake Finnegan gets the recovery and takes it right to the house. That was a great opportunity from the Trojans. The first one unassisted in this game. So that means 7 were assisted.
I mean, that's just great team lacrosse.
Team lacrosse.
Face off, and it'll be Parkland. For the moment, Esteban.
Esteban, we've seen score a couple times.
There's Gertis. Get rid of it. 7 seconds pass. Finnegan up top. He scores. Blake Finnegan back to back. And Parkland now leads 9-3.
Back to an assisted goal. And he had a couple options, by the way. So Esteban was calling for it topside. I believe that was Garancher who got that assist. So he had a couple options. Goes for Blake Finnegan because he could see that this slide was a little bit late, number 7 there, and he just saw that wide open slice through the D. And 4 straight goals from the Trojans, back to back for Blake Finnegan.
Esteban, quick, and Arezi's shot goes wide, but for the Parkland Trojans, 4 straight goals taking them into halftime with a lead of 9-3. Parkland feeling very good and deservedly so. We'll step aside. When Gwen and I and the crew come back, we'll break down how this first half went and then get you set and ready to go for half number 2 here on the Service Electric Network. For the Parkland Trojans, they lead Delaware Valley by a score of 9-3. Mike Ventola, Gwen Begley with you. And Gwen, you know, for 12 total goals here in this first half, but it certainly was a tale of 2 different tapes. Parkland, they came out of the gate red hot. Delaware Valley showing some spunk at the end of the first quarter, early into the second, and Parkland putting a cherry on top, and it's how we got to our halftime score. But we kind of get a chance here to see how all these goals came underway here. Let's start in the first half. Mentioned about the Trojans coming out of the gate, and it was none other than the leading goal scorer himself in Parker Kusko, setting things up 1-0.
Yeah, it was 2 minutes into the game, around 10 minutes to go, and Parker Kusko got going. He goes back to back, getting a feed from Colton Arezi here, and then it was Blake Finnegan's turn to get in on the action. They had 4 different goal scorers in this first quarter. He goes topside, just a quick open lane right to the net. Heath unable to get that one stopped, and then it was Danny Tapia's turn off another feed from Colton Arezi from the backside, and quickly makes work of that one. That was about 5 minutes left, made it 4-0, and then while he is helping out with the assist, he gets one for himself, going top shelf on Heath, and then it kind of transferred over. The momentum switched to Del Val, Mike.
You know, when you look at Del Val, finally, they go to their leading goal scorer. It's Peyton Larocco as he finds the back of the net for Delaware Valley. And then we see, with about 38 seconds to go in halftime, it's number 26, Michael Uzzolino. And that's what takes us to the end of the first quarter. And then in the second quarter, mentioned about how Del Val had some momentum. It's Larocco again. He makes it a 2-goal game. It's 5-3. And then those pesky Trojans once again, Gwen.
Yep, 4 straight from the Trojans after they brought it within 5-3. Working around from X, that was John Garancher. And then once again, we'll see another score from Colton Arezi. And this was off of the face-off victory from Max Esteban. He quickly unloaded to Colton Arezi, who made it 7-3. And then we get a hat trick out of Blake Finnegan. That came off a defensive turnover from Ethan Leaks, found Blake Finnegan, and he took it right to the house, the first of back-to-back. That was the only unassisted goal of the first half for the Trojans. This one coming from Garancher backside. They find Blake Finnegan up top, and he gets it done to make it 9-3. So it went from Parkland, the momentum changed to Del Val, and then Parkland quickly just snatched it right back to head into the halftime break with a significant advantage.
Yeah, certainly a significant advantage, and for the Trojans, feeling comfortable with a 6-goal advantage, but they know they still have a lot of work to do, especially with the way this game spoke in recent history, where they had a nice lead going to halftime, and it was a big third quarter by Delaware Valley that got them back into things. But still some more here to go on throughout our halftime coverage. As the Trojans lead the Warriors 9-3, we'll step aside when we come back. We'll get an opportunity to talk a little bit more as we get you set ready to go for the second half here on the Service Electric Network. Parkland leading Delaware Valley 9-3, and even though the Warriors have only 3 goals to show, but they've had a real nice first half, and despite you see the 9 and the 6-goal difference with Parkland in the lead, but you can't not talk about the senior goalie Keegan Heath, who only plays in the first half, Gwen, but certainly kept his team very much in this contest because of some really good saves.
Yeah, they have great competition over there at Delaware Valley in that goalie position, a 2-goalie system this season, and Keegan Heath is off to a great start for the Warriors. He's seeing the ball pretty well. I know 9 goals, but he's been in a tough position. That an incredible save from him. Get it with his stick movement. Love his stick skills. He's able to get it down. There's been a couple that have gone wide, but he would have saved those. He gets this one, the ground ball, to stop that second chance opportunity, which Parkland is quick to jump on. But yeah, it could be a lot worse without Keegan Heath. Right now, they're warming up their second goalkeeper in Riley Smith, the junior. He plays the second half typically, 39 goals against, 61% save average. You're taking a look at the stats here now. Ground balls in favor of the Trojans, 14-10 there, but face-offs, that's pretty even. It's just the turnovers that are the issue, but total shots on goal, Mike, Delaware Valley's got to take more shots, but
Yes.
they need possession in order to do that.
No, you bring up a good point, and that's certainly that has hindered them in the first half. And you look at the shots on goal, along with those total shots here. So Parkland's getting those opportunities offensively, and also too, I know ground balls at times. When we've talked about it, you win the ground ball matchup more times than not, you're going to win the game because
Yep.
you're able to really help give yourself extra possessions. And you wonder if that's certainly some things that were talked about during that halftime break. But the most important thing is, like you said, Riley Smith now comes off the bench and takes over for Keegan Heath. And that's one thing, even though I say coming off the bench for Jeff Krzyzulski, the head coach, he says he's just another starter.
Their plan.
It's their plan. I have 2 starting goalies. One plays the first half, one plays the second half. So we'll see how Riley Smith does in relief.
Well, it's interesting because Allentown Central Catholic kind of worked with a 2-goalie system throughout the regular season, but their senior in Chris Burke played so fantastic in the playoffs that they kept with him starting. But this is not the same situation. These are 2 starters
Yes.
that they had competition with. There's no egos. There's no, oh, you're starting the top of the game. No, it's just 2 separate games for the separate halves. So you see Riley Smith there. He was warming up during the halftime, so he's getting used to it. And what an advantage for him, too, for able to see what Parkland has in their arsenal, see where they're shooting on Heath.
Yes.
And now for Parkland, they've got to get used to a whole new goalie now. So this is a little wrinkle that they've put in to try and throw the other teams off.
The second half is officially underway, and Parkland will come up with possession here to kick things off, and we'll see Riley Smith potentially getting tested here early. Certainly for Delaware Valley, Gwen, you mentioned their defense. They've got to pick things up here, helping their goalies to have better save chances. That's been a big bugaboo here for the white and black.
Yeah, they haven't allowed a lot of goals this season. The most they have allowed was against these Trojans, 15 goals. They allowed 10 in their opening game against the Nazareth Blue Eagles. This is a good opportunity for Matt Kelly. That one goes wide. And they have not allowed more than, I think, 7 or so goals aside from that. So defense has been playing well, at least against not District 11 opponents. Obviously, they've done pretty well against this team this year.
Off the side of the net, and I thought there maybe was some action there around the crease, but take a look at the catch here. I mean, you see Finnegan, and yep, wow, that ball is caught beautifully there by Colton Arezzi.
Yeah, and a great opportunity for him, but Riley Smith was there, not allowing a good look from Arezzi.
Delaware Valley is Larocco.
Who's going? Slow, yeah. Back up. Hey, Rio.
Over to Uzolino. Uzolino worked inside now to Uzanovic. Uzanovic. Pass, shot, missed there by number 8, Colin McGarvey.
Like the idea.
Here is Noah Raboli. Now back to McGarvey.
Great defense from Christian Magluor for the Parkland Trojans. Number 32, the long pole. You can see he's got a lot of involvement in this game defensively.
Parkland back with it. Now he has to go back.
Yep, he's got to go back to the 40.
Yep, he had to go back to where he first got it. Here's Garancher. Finnegan. Remember, we saw a lot of Parker Cusco in the first quarter. Switching things up, that shot wide by Garancher.
Thrown off a little bit by Dean Finelli on the slide.
6-goal lead here for Parkland, certainly looking to add more. Not looking to be too overzealous. That pass, though, bouncing away, and that's just a mistake there you can't make.
We've seen it a ton, though, today, Mike. A little bit of errant passes on both sides.
But two, where you're seeing the turnovers by, at least in this case here, we'll just look at Parkland, and that's where if you're Delaware Valley, like, we're getting the ball back. But they haven't been able to really convert as much when they help cause some of those turnovers. And that's where they're going to have to really pick it up here in the second half if they want to keep their season alive.
Wow.
What a save on that pass. Here's
Colin McGarvey.
Impressive.
Two great catches we've seen so far. One from Colton Arezzi for Trojans, and then McGarvey there with the great snag.
Here is Barbalich. Goes wide.
Taking a little bit more shots.
Metalovicius just posting up nicely. LaRocco getting bombarded by Schaefer. Schaefer all over him, mauling him, pokes the ball loose, helps create the ground ball scenario, and it's Colin Winfield that gets it for Parkland.
That's the second time Drew Schaefer has caused some chaos and caused a turnover. So that's 2 for him in this game so far. Good recovery from the Trojans.
And here is Schaefer. Great pass. Over to Garancher now. And Arezzi is able to scoop it up. Now Garancher.
Got Colton Arezzi waiting on the crease.
Pass it top, bouncer, and it's in. And Gwen called it perfectly. There is Colton Arezzi.
You could just tell. I don't know what it was, but you could hear also the defense calling for the crease. Watch the crease, watch the crease. Colton Arezzi, 9 times out of 10, he's going to convert on that opportunity, especially when the slide is about several seconds too late. So he has a 1v1 opportunity, goes 5-hole on Smith. What a great heads-up play by the freshman. 3 goals, 3 assists for Arezzi here tonight.
Esteban competing there with Mackey. Ball still loose. I mean, Mackey's still getting it. I mean, think about that,
It's
too.
a good face-off battle.
It really is. But you would think, too, with a torn ACL, putting pressure on that knee area, and he doesn't care. He's just going for it.
Tough kid. Multi-sport athlete. If you're just joining us, this kid has a torn ACL, got cleared to play just recently, just started practicing with this brace.
And a shot and score there. That's number 26, Michael Uzzolino. That's his 2nd goal of the day. And Delaware Valley with their 4th of the contest.
Ending a really long drought. They have not scored since about 5:25 left in the second quarter. He works around, smokes his defender, gets himself some space. This was all done on his own. Love his stick skills on that, love the movement, and he converts quickly.
So White is sent off there. That's number 7, Bryson Mackey. He will step off, and Parkland comes up with it. A bit of false start. So with under 7 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter, 6-goal difference. The winner will advance to the District 11 championship to take on either top-seeded Easton or fourth-seeded Nazareth. Those two teams will play after the conclusion of this contest.
Talk about creating space, Mike.
Yeah, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. There's Matthew Kelly as Parkland with their 11th.
We just saw Luzolino creating space for himself on the other side, and Matt Kelly's like, all right, I can do that too. You can see him working around his defender. He slices through two, and he's able to have a better look at the net, converts quickly, second goal of this quarter for the Trojans. Colton Arezzi got that first one. A little bit slowing down a little bit here, Mike.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more now. And Esteban coming up, and you wonder now if Parkland kind of talked a little bit about during halftime with that third quarter in the previous matchup was nightmarish for Parkland. And now you could see they've been students of the film, and so far still plenty of time, but a much better beginning to this third quarter compared to that regular season matchup.
Yeah, 5 goals allowed in the third quarter from the Trojans against Del Val. And we saw that in the first quarter for Parkland, scoring 5 straight. So Del Val, we've seen them take a little bit more shots in this second half, and it's benefited from them. But the Trojans just keep pulling away.
High pass, and it goes out, and you can see Blake Finnegan kind of tapping himself on the head saying, nah, I should make that a better pass.
Yeah, I got away from him a little bit. Didn't have the ball secure enough for the pass, and a little frustration, but now just gives your defense an opportunity to create another turnover.
I mean, the Warriors, been 13 days since they last playing against North Pocono, but playing a lot of teams up north, and Gwen and I talked about it earlier with them trying to look to scrimmage with some teams from the New York area, but unable to do so in between that North Pocono game and here today against Parkland. So obviously you still kind of see the frustration and the stallness out of this group, but right now another turnover, and we see Delaware Valley with the ball.
Yeah, see if they can make it through the midfield this time. It's been a struggle. Parkland's right has been really, really good in this game so far. You just got to be quick.
Larocco gets to it, comes around, and he scores. Larocco gets his third of the game, and it's 11-5.
Well, they get one back, and Peyton Larocco has just been one of the biggest highlights for this Del Val team. Obviously, all season long, he's the all-time goals, assists, and points leader in this team, and he just gives himself this opportunity. He picks that right up, and you could see he's looking topside, right? He's trying to fool the defense, acting like he's going to pass that ball, but takes it for himself. He goes right to the crease, and he's able to beat Matalevichus. I think he was just trying to draw their eyes and the defense away from him.
Penalty.
Lots of whistles.
Lots of whistles.
This will be a 30-second penalty for the Trojans. Or is this on Del Val? This will be on Del Val. So Parkland with a man-up opportunity. Esteban there coming off the face-off.
And number 7, Bryson McMackey taking the knee.
Yep, so an infraction there at the face-off, and Parkland will have the opportunity.
Six-goal lead. Nice pass. Stopped there, though, by Smith. Got his body in front of it. Good work there for the junior.
Yeah, I feel like he's got an eye on Arezzi at this point, and Arezzi was, again, waiting at the crease, and he received that pass super low. I believe he had to get down on his knees to be able to make that play, and Smith also got down low, so he was right there with him. He saw that coming. Penalty is released in full strength here for Del Val.
Barbalich. Maglu are all over him, forcing him out. He's got to pass it, able to get it over to Uzovic. The lefty shoots, hits off the post. Trying it again, though, this time number 8 in Colin McGarvey, and a couple of missed opportunities for Delaware Valley, but they still have possession.
Yeah, that was a great idea from Colin McGarvey. He had that open look, just went a little bit wide, but luckily his teammates were there to retain the possession.
McGarvey, or check that, that's Raboli with it. Raboli sneaks on through, and Raboli with his first goal of the game. And just the third different goal scorer here for Delaware Valley.
Yeah, Noah Raboli, he's been really quiet in this game so far, but he was successful last year against the District 11 team. He had 3 goals and an assist, so a 4-point game in that loss to Easton a year ago. Now getting one on the Trojans. He's one of their top guys, and Coach said him along with Peyton LaRocco, they're kind of a dynamic duo situation. They complement each other so well, and they're such strong leaders on this team. They're player coaches on the field, right? They are able to direct their teammates without the coaches having to get involved.
Shoot,
wow.
Score there, number 23, Chris Devaney. It's his 13th goal of the season, and how about this for Delaware Valley?
Here they come. This was off a great face-off win. He quickly makes work of it, gets himself down the field, creates some space and takes advantage. That was an incredible play by Del Val. They're picking up some momentum here, so they've outscored the Trojans now 4-2 in this quarter. Kind of a similar story from early in the season.
And it's going to go for Delaware Valley. And they are getting momentum here as we take a look at the face-off again.
Yep,
Esteban.
So the push right there, push him down. Gets it to go for White. But you could see how they're playing right now. They're just playing with a little bit more confidence, more momentum.
Barbalich misses wide.
Gets decked in the process, so he goes flying to the turf, but not a penalty, so they'll keep possession here off the errant shot.
Right down.
Sneaking through. Another one here for Delaware Valley. Once again, Noah Raboli, his second. And for the Warriors, fitting their nickname perfectly as they're back in this. It's 11-8.
That was a defensive mistake from the Trojans, and you could see their frustration from it, right? He ditches his defender, leaves him in the dust, gives himself a 1v1 opportunity with Matalevicius, and he just gets this one to go. This was a great game plan from Delaware Valley, and they've got the momentum. This is 4 straight from the Warriors.
I mean, this is what appeared to be a lopsided game after Parkland made it 11-4, but here we are, just a 3-goal difference as the Trojans right now know they got to get themselves back into their scoring habits starting on this possession.
And Parkland, I mean, they're a dangerous team. They can make quick work of their offense. We've seen them do it before, Mike. We've seen them in deficits, and they quickly get it back. We've seen Colton Arezzi score with the last second to force an overtime game.
Oh yes.
I mean, there's no quit in this team, and that's mirrored on the other side with Del Val.
Through 3 defenders shooting high and missing. And that was number 9, Matthew Kelly. He's been a lot more active here in half number 2.
Sure has. He's the last one to score for these Trojans, and that was about 5 minutes left to go, and now we've got under 2.
Kelly. Look back.
Good dodge.
What a save there by Riley Smith. Sign him up for gymnastics. Perfect split.
And the recovery, too. He got right back in his stance. He's ready to go.
Low pass. I mean, Kelly had the right idea, but that was just a poorly executed pass there towards Blake Finnegan.
It sure was, and you could see the frustration kind of on the attack for the missed opportunity. I mean, they had it right there, but Riley Smith can't say enough good things about the two goalie tandem they got going on here. Nearly in a split is Smith going down for the save. So great job by Del Val. Use that momentum from the save, transfer it right back here, see if they can go 5 straight, Mike.
Wouldn't that be something?
Wouldn't that be something?
I mean,
we love ourselves a good game.
Yeah, I mean, for a little while, it was starting to really showcase a lot of dominance from the red and gray, and now here comes the black and white, number 26, Michael Luzolino. It's now just a 2-goal difference.
That is a hat trick for Michael Luzolino. He scored in the first, and this is his 2nd goal of the 3rd quarter. Luzolino just working his way around. Now, he didn't have really a good look in this one. A little luck playing on his side, but he places that in the perfect position. Matalevich just read that wrong.
So now for Delaware Valley.
Good, clean face-off win from Esteban. We'll see if they can make quick work. They got to hang on to this possession.
Yeah, they have to, even if they milk it for the entire 50-plus seconds remaining. The ball gets knocked loose and off the stick. Nice job shielding, trying to get the ground ball. Ball still loose. Ball loose again.
Using the body.
And that is Canali up with it.
Colin McGarvey using some physicality to knock that ball free of the stick.
Parkland ball here with 26.4 seconds. Matalevich can help switch the field a little bit. Right idea. Here's Drew Schaefer.
Yeah, if I'm the Trojans, I want one before this quarter ends.
As in Afif. This is Garancher across the way. Shot, bouncer, and in. Fantastic looking goal there. It's number 10, Blake Finnegan. Stops the bleeding for now. And it's 12-9.
That was a beauty of a bouncer, by the way. And this was a quick, frenzied play. Garancher fires it across the defense. Finds Blake Finnegan, and he's just had a fantastic game. Finding perfect position off the turf to bounce that one right past Smith. That goes high. Great opportunity for the Trojans. They take advantage of it, 12-9.
That goal huge as the clock strikes 0 with 1 quarter left to play. Parkland, they are ahead 12-9, but that quarter, a huge pushback by Delaware Valley. As we'll step aside here on the Service Electric Network. Back here at Al Erdesy Stadium, as we look at the score by quarter, and you see the first 2 quarters there very much favoring Parkland, but a huge 3rd quarter for Delaware Valley, Gwen. And even though they still find themselves trailing in this game, you got to think they have just a little bit more confidence, thinking, all right, we can really hang with these Parkland Trojans.
That scoring line, by the way, nearly identical to what we saw between these 2 teams in the beginning of this season.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
It's nearly identical, except it was 5-2 in favor of Del Val, and this one's 6-3. So just up in the ante a little bit. But we mentioned how close Del Val is to beating these District 11 teams. 4 combined goals. That's all they've lost by in the last 2 seasons. So they're right there, and they want this win so badly. They want to play spoiler in this District 11 tournament as the District 2 team.
No, they certainly do. I mean, Al Erdesy Stadium's been a little bit of a house of horrors for this bunch. But starting beautifully here in the 4th quarter, it's number 22, Peyton Larocco. They get to their 10th goal. And for Delaware Valley, They trail by 2.
That is Peyton's 4th goal of this game, and quick. You can see that dodge. He just backpedals a little bit, works around him, gets himself a wide open look to the opposite side of the goal. Great opportunity and great look for Peyton LaRocco. 68 goals on the season. He just keeps impressing for his Warriors.
Esteban gets it back to Medalevicius. I mean, for the Trojans, it's just been got to be a smack in the face when you think about it.
Yeah, this is not how they want to perform. Obviously, they've been very inconsistent.
Here is Devaney.
So the line before, so it was 5-4 after that first quarter, Mike.
Right.
Parkland scored 6 compared to Del Val's 1 in the second quarter. Then it was 5-2 Del Val in the third quarter. And then just 2-1 Parkland in the fourth. So slowed it down a lot, right? So this is a little bit different, but kind of that similar trajectory.
I'm going to be honest with you, if I'm Parkland, I'm thinking about really having slow, methodical possessions when you're on offense, but now they have to really intensify here on defense.
Yeah, if I'm Parkland, I'm a little nervous right now because Del Val's got the momentum. They're feeling it.
I think therefore, Huzanovic, I think that ball just magically just jump shot it out in a way that I don't think he expected.
Yeah, so they've had 6 of the last 7 goals in this one. That one, the ball just way too high to stick. That wasn't going anywhere on target. Didn't have control.
And a penalty against the Trojans. It's number 21 there, Mazen Afif, the senior midfielder. So it's a man-up opportunity here for Delaware Valley, the Warriors.
Quite the opposite of what they want to do right now late in this one, but a good stop by Medalevicius. They got to use that momentum off the save and send it right back to the other side. He's still with the lead, but Mike, you can feel the difference in this game already.
And look, folks, I mean, it's very evident not to, you know, really compound things, but turnovers and mistakes have just really hurt Parkland, and it's evident.
It's been a killer. Yep. Turnovers have been kind of the name of the game.
Barbalich and Delaware Valley's within 1, the Warriors.
Got to do what you got to do, and there's that aggressiveness, that physicality on attack that's benefiting them right now, just barreling through the defense. You can see he's just working off the body, gets himself some space. He sees where his defenders are and works his way to the left to be able to beat Medalevicius. Shooting low.
You know, if I'm Parkland, whenever I get the ball back, you got to call a timeout. But right now, Delaware Valley.
Oh my goodness.
Could be moments away from tying this. Medalevicius, though, great positioning there in front of the net.
Yeah, he snagged that opportunity out of Del Val's hands before they can even think about it.
Mistakes and even some faulty defensive play here have hindered the Trojans. Here's Colton Lorezi. I mean, Gwen, do you think about kind of what we said a little bit ago? Slow, methodical possessions kind of slow things down here if you're Parkland? Or do you, if you think you got a lane, you take it?
Well, you got to take the opportunities as they come. Still a lot of lacrosse left to play. We've got about 9 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. They're still up by 1. Play like it. But they got to keep it clean. They got to clean up their passes. They've lost several opportunities just from an errant pass that went out of bounds or a forced turnover. But Del Val's defense has tightened up a ton. Great screen there to provide some space for Finnegan.
Yeah, Blake Finnegan, a much-needed goal for Parkland. They're back ahead by 2. It's 13-11.
Needed that desperately after giving up 7 of the last 8 goals.
Finnegan, I mean, I can be honest with you.
Creates his own space in that situation.
And you know what, too?
But how about Matt Kelly there?
Yeah, Matt Kelly really
huge part of the
huge
off-ball movement.
And you know what, too, just to not, I thought Riley Smith just a hair late on that, and really for Blake Finnegan having to thread the needle on that shot attempt. So 13-11, and back to midfield here is Parker Cusco. Or check that, looks like to be Matthew Kelly. Yeah, Parker Cusco, believe it or not,
he's been quiet. He has scored the first 2 goals of the game, and Del Val's locked down on him.
Another.
They're so back, Mike.
Yeah, they are. I think once where they found the cookie jar was here, they're going for more now. Parkland back-to-back. They lead 14-10.
That is 6 goals now for Blake Finnegan. Maybe taken out of the starting lineup a little bit personally, but he has come alive in this second half. His second straight goal, his second of the second half. So Blake Finnegan, I mean, he has been providing the spark the Trojans needed late in this one.
Low shot and score. It's Danny Tapia. Trojans finding some open opportunities, taking advantage.
And that started, Mike. Sorry to interrupt, but off that face-off X, I can't go without giving credit to their good old Fogo there, and Max Esteban quickly wins this one, loads it off to Colton Arezzi. We've seen this story before. Hands it off to Danny Tapia, who shoots low, and they are back in this game, Mike. They let 3 goals in 28 seconds. It's crazy. I mean, they took it personally that Del Val was coming back the way that they did. And you can tell with those 3 quick scores. So Blake Finnegan goes back-to-back before Danny Tapia gets his second of the contest.
Uzanovic here for Delaware Valley.
You're good. Let's go, he's going, he's got
Over to the X there, there's Peyton LaRocco. Schaefer forcing him out. Dropping the ball there was Devaney, who had a golden opportunity, at least being positioned accordingly. He stays with it now. Cradling nicely. Deposits up top. Spin over the shoulder, and it just goes wide. If LaRocco would have hit that, that might have been the sickest goal we've seen all year.
Yeah, we saw Riley Rath score that way from Pleasant Valley last night. And could have seen it again tonight, but denied. That one went wide, and once again, Matalevich is all over it in close range, stopping Noah Raboli from getting another. That's Matalevich's 9th save of this game so far, and he's coming way out of his cage.
Yeah, he's not afraid. He'll do that from time to time, and oh, Tapia can't bring it in. Rylan Conrad was able to set up the pass nicely, but unable to bring it in.
Slowing it down a little bit. Really, really high-paced efforts from both teams for this entire quarter so far, actually.
Missing it wide, and mentioning about slowing things down here, but now for Delaware Valley, gonna want to pick it up here a little bit. You're under 6.5 minutes to go in the quarter, and your season's on the line.
Yeah, this is the score. That was the result earlier in the season, 15-11. We still got a lot of time left to play. This is a high-scoring, high-caliber game between these two teams. They've both cleaned it up a little bit in this fourth, but still some mistakes causing costly mistakes, rather, Mike.
Yeah,
this one going wide.
Yeah, Colin McGarvey missing that one, and take a look at it here again. Yeah, McGarvey had a decent chance at it, but shot not going where he'd liked it to have ended up. Don't forget, folks, after the conclusion of this one, It'll be top-seeded Easton against fourth-seeded Nazareth. Metalevicius makes the save. So the winner will face the winner of that one between Easton and Nazareth. And the championship game will be played at Lehigh University on Thursday.
Excited for that one, Mike.
Oh, it'll be a lot of fun. The next 2 days, you have the 2A and 3A girls and boys lacrosse championships at Lehigh University. And speaking on offense, actually on the far sideline, you can kind of see just inside the 30, Parker Cusco is standing there on the sideline without a helmet. And he has not been in.
He has not been in this game. He scored those 2 goals. You got to wonder if he got a little bit banged up in this one, but either way, his team is executing without him. And Blake Finnegan, the one with the ball right now, has been a huge part of their offensive prowess in this fourth quarter.
Getting right now some pressure from Luke Brzezinskis. Under 5 minutes to go in the game. Arezi.
The way he just like rolls off the dodges, it's great. He's just so elusive.
He's got great footwork too. You just see it. He moves well. There's a flag, and I think that's going to go against Delaware Valley. Number 31, or check that, 34, excuse me. Justin Estevez may have been the culprit. And Canale picks up the ball. And it should be a man-up situation here for Parkland. But yes.
Great opportunity for the Trojans late in the game, under 5 minutes left to go, 15-11. That's a lot of time for Delaware Valley to come back. We saw how quickly they were able to come within 1 of this team in the third quarter. So they'll need to execute on this man-up opportunity if they want to hold on to this much of an advantage.
Yeah, Riley Smith able to steer that shot away. They want Arezi to take a few steps back before starting possession. Very formal in the rules at times, lacrosse.
And sometimes not. We love when they are formal.
Tapia trying to go low. Arezi maintains possession for Parkland as we take a look at the previous play.
Great dodge of his defense, just not placing it in the right spot for Danny Tapia, but we'll get another chance.
And speaking of another chance, there is number 3, and Danny Tapia gives Parkland her 16th goal.
Second straight shot from Danny Tapia, executes on the second one. So these are back-to-back scores from number 3 in Danny Tapia, getting a great feed. Another one from, you guessed it, Colton Arezi from X. He shoots low. That's Colton Arezi's 5th assist of the game. And a great one, too. You can see Smith upset with himself for letting that one go. That should have been a save on his part, but 16-11, the Trojans creating a little bit more of a cushion here late in this fourth.
Here's Esteban. So Parkland right now back with possession. And for Corey Andrews, he's going to call a timeout here with 3:35 remaining in this game. And starting to maybe sense it and feel it here a little bit, Gwen. As, you know, he has a lot to be happy now that his team picked back steam, large part because of none other than number 10 himself. That is a senior midfielder in Blake Finnegan. He's led the way here in this quarter for Parkland.
Yeah, Blake Finnegan, I mean, while he's getting assists in some of these occasions, he's really just creating this space for himself with his dodging, finding a way to read the defense. He's able to take advantage of these open lanes right to the net. He's had 2 goals in the fourth quarter, but that's not without all of his efforts. He had a couple goals in the second. He had 1 in the first. And he's made such a big difference. He's finding a lot of success shooting high, too, on this Delaware team. So he's getting this team up and at them, and they are back within a distance, 16-11. I mean, Mike, it was 12-11 there for a moment here in the fourth. And 4 straight really quick goals from the Trojans.
You know, you look at the left side of your screen there, it looks like Parker Cusco, by my eyes, may have a cast there on his right arm, or at least it's wrapped up in some capacity, Gwen. And if by any means, if he is, you know, seriously hurt, obviously, of course, once again, kudos to Blake Finnegan, who's been tremendous today. And perfectly situated here on our television screen for a reason, because he has picked up where Parker Cusco would have been if he is still active and playing in this game. So Blake Finnegan doing a tremendous job of really helping pick up the slack. So, you know, for Parker Cusco, though, if he is seriously hurt in any capacity, that's a blow for them, especially if they win this game. And we'll see how it shakes itself out.
Yeah, that would be a huge loss for the Trojans. See his right arm wrapped up a little bit. Obviously, cannot play in that condition. We hope that he is all right and able to play, obviously out for the rest of this game. We've only got about 4 or so minutes left to play.
And this time, looks like John Garancher, number 26, and Parkland now with their 17th score of the afternoon.
John Garancher has had a couple helpers in this game, getting one for himself here in the fourth quarter. His second goal of the game, working his way around. You can see self-cradle there. He just shoots cross-body and beats Smith. Parkland has taken the wind out of Del Val's sails. I mean, they took that 12-11 result personally and have just created a spark and lit on fire here late in the fourth. Garancher, that is the 5th straight goal from the Trojans in this frame.
Esteban scoops it up nicely, cradling it. Good pass. So here is Luke Baranskis getting fierce pressure there from Brennan Shaner. Pass, shot. Medalevicius makes the easy save.
Yeah, Michael Luzolino perhaps should have taken another opportunity there because the defender came right in front. He did not get the wind up on that shot that he probably would have liked. And this is a interesting little scrum on the far sideline. So Medalevicius comes out of his cage. He wants to get involved. He goes to the midfield. And, of course, if you're Del Val, you're going to try and take your opportunity to get that ball back. It's a lot easier to check a goalie stick. There's more real estate for you to get your stick on it. And he just kind of rolls around. So timeout called, and thankfully, because it was getting a little testy there.
Yeah, I think for Corey Andrews was really starting to feel it a little bit, but able to hone his team and call a timeout as, you know, you bringing certain members of his team in there. You see number 3 there in Danny Tapia, right? Centered here on our screen. And also, too, as much as we talked about Blake Finnegan, Danny Tapia with 2 goals in this quarter alone has helped bridge what's been a 5-goal run here for the Red and Gray.
Yeah, and there's a reason he's going to play in the World Championships for Team Puerto Rico under 21. I mean, he has been fantastic for this team. He's a great representative of the Puerto Rican community. Can't not wait to see him play in South Korea this summer. But right now we get to see him in a Parkland Trojans jersey, and he has been integral in getting this team back up to speed. Back-to-back goals there in the fourth quarter, 3 total. So he gets a hat trick, and he added an assist as well, Mike. So Danny Tapia really coming alive for the Trojans in this semifinal.
Yeah, of course, we're so excited for him to play overseas. Be a great representative of Parkland. Be a lot of fun for him. So that's the thing. No matter how things shake up here for he and the Trojans the rest of the way, he's going to still have some lacrosse in the near future.
He sure does, and at an incredible level. But how cool is that? We've covered and called a game of a guy who's going to be playing on the big stage. So we wish him the best. But right now he's got a championship to win. A couple more they were trying to win as they're trying to secure their spot in the state tournament as well. Of course, one team, unfortunately, just one team will advance to states from District 11 this season.
It was the Easton Red Rovers a season ago. Remember, Parkland has not won a district championship since 2018, so it's been a little different for them in recent years, but they have certainly been competitive. And, you know, for Parkland, though, they're starting to taste things here a little bit as they have a 6-goal advantage here with 1.5 minutes to go. And now just making sure they do not make any really silly mistakes here, and they should be in good hands to play either Easton or Nazareth for a district championship.
Yeah, excited for the nightcap here. Colton Arezzi, you could see him just buzzing around the top of the box, and he's just kind of hold on to it until the end of this game, and they're going to try and play keep away. I mean, there's going to be less than 1 minute left to go here. They don't want to give Del Val any more opportunities. We've seen how quickly they work on offense. So if you can keep it out of their stick, you're going to be in good shape. But if you make mistakes like this, which we've seen really all night, Mike.
Yeah, we've seen this way too many times. I'm sure for head coach Corey Andrews, that's one thing he's going to want to address a little bit come between now and Thursday. I'm sure when this team gets a chance to practice tomorrow, they're going to try to work on some things as swiftly and as smoothly as possible as that ball goes out of bounds.
This would be the 4th win over Del Val in Parkland's history. 4-0 against this Warriors squad. Matthew Scott getting in on it as well, trying to send it down and secure possession so that they can keep this away from the Warriors, but this will end up in White's stick.
Yeah, it certainly will, and you know, you have to, of course, take a moment and acknowledge Delaware Valley truly dominating up at District 2, and not easy to come here to another district and compete in the playoffs, but certainly a great effort here today, just falling short. We certainly wish the Warriors the best moving forward here as we're just about 10 seconds to go in this game, and for the Parkland Trojans, we're now 5 seconds away. They'll just see play resume here.
Yeah, and looking forward to seeing this team next year. I'm sure we will.
Pass, shot, Metalevicius fittingly with the save, and for the Parkland Trojans, they will head to the District 11 Championship on Thursday at Lehigh University. The 3-seeded Trojans, they defeat the 2-seeded Delaware Valley Warriors by a score of 17-11. Congratulations to the red and gray, and of course, too, once again, acknowledgement to Delaware Valley on a fantastic effort here throughout their 2025 season as their 16-game winning streak comes to an end by the team that they last lost to earlier in the season.
Yeah, Mike, it wasn't pretty for the Parkland Trojans, but in the end, a win is a win, and they will for sure take it. A lot of things to clean up headed into the championship against either Easton or Nazareth, which we're going to see in the nightcap in just a little bit, but a great all-around effort towards the end for the Parkland Trojans. They ended on a 5-goal streak. Of course, it went 5 for 5 for 5 3 times. A team has gone on a 5-goal run. We've talked about a game of runs, and that has been the case for today, but it was the Trojans with the final say.
That'll do it here for the first semifinal matchup between Delaware Valley and Parkland. Easton and Nazareth will get underway in just a little while, but of course want to thank all of you for tuning into this one. As your final score, Parkland, they defeat Delaware Valley by a score of 17-11. For my partner, Gwen Begley, and our entire SEN crew, I'm Mike Ventola. Once again, thanks for watching the District 11 3A Boys Lacrosse Semifinals. Game number 1. Game number two between the Nazareth Blue Eagles, the 4th seed, and the top seed Easton Red Rovers comes your way in just a little bit here on the Service Electric Network.